Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. My name is Hannah Ruth Dyson and so excited today to share about our upcoming journey to Egypt, 16th to 23rd of September, just a month away now. And this has been such a powerful journey already and such a wild magic carpet ride, which it feels like it was earlier this year as well when I was invited for the first time. We led our first group back in May. And it happened in such a divine way. Like I could never have planned it from my mind, and it just happened again so spontaneously. And then when I arrived back in May, we arrived on the Beltane May 1st, and we rode out by horseback out to this temple to Sekhmet. This is a temple closed to the public, and I was completely jet lagged, tired, just so kind of a bit overwhelmed, really trying to ground and really like be present. It'd been a long time since I've been riding a horse as well, and so it was just this epic experience riding into the desert and being at this temple. And you know, there's this beautiful ruin, but you see these huge bowls where they clearly held ceremony and ritual. And we just sat in this ruin, and I just immediately, as soon as I sat down, I felt this deep, powerful energy surging through me, and this message of come back in September. And I could feel it really loud and clear, like there was something calling me back there, and this time to lead a group by myself and to really guide those who are on the shamanic path. And you know, you may be on the path to be a shaman or a healer, or you may just be on a shamanic path in some way where you're here to honor the deepest, oldest form of spirituality, this deep primal energy. If you're in a female body, if you have a womb, you'll feel that deep primal energy from there, or just energetic, you'll feel it from that place. And it's this deep remembrance of who we are, where we've come from. Again, 98+% of human history, this is the spirituality that we engaged with. And when I look at all the civilizations or experiments of civilizations and religions and spiritual traditions, I just see ways that this shamanic energy is being harnessed and maybe manipulated or controlled or brought into some kind of, rules and form, and brought into some sort of form. Whereas the shamanic energy is this uncontrollable, wild nature, and we see with every experiment of civilization how it's collapsed and how it's come up, because it doesn't last. You can't harness that energy forever. I mean, you can't control that, and you can harness the energy, but you can't control it or manipulate it into these hierarchies, into this power over, into all the destruction that we've seen taken place on the planet and against people. We're here to reawaken that deep primal energy, and I'm here specifically to guide the shamanic mother line, which is this deepest, oldest form of shamanism, with so much compassion, care, love. And I've realized being on this path, because I've met many intense initiations, spiritual attacks, shamanic attacks, dark shamans, people who don't want those energies to happen or don't want to see. Specifically, I think women remember these energies and remember their own power. We see actually time and time again, when I've experienced meeting some very intimidating, intense moments, that actually nothing is greater than this energy of love, and no stronger energy of love from a mother. This like no messing with me kind of energy. There's no messing with my children, no messing with the planet. It's like this deep form, and I think when we remember that, again, we become unstoppable. And this is again the path that we're here to walk on, that you'll probably feel in some way if you're called to this journey. It's like a deep primal urge, and you'll just recognize something in my words. You'll feel something very deep moving within you. We're there to really weave in this ceremony, in this ritual, to reawaken our gifts, to remember who we are, to be in our divine purpose, to learn how to protect ourselves, to learn how to ground ourselves, to walk with sacred responsibility, so we can feel the utmost joy, pleasure, bliss, ecstasy, celebration, which is a lot of what this journey will be about as well. So our first trip will be back out to this temple to Sekhmet as a group. We can either go by horseback or by camel. We get to be in our opening ceremony at this temple and really just feel this great primal goddess of Sekhmet, the lion-headed goddess who's brought into the planet to honor her sacred rage, to bring back the sacred balance. So we can see at this time how important it is to invoke her, to feel her, to honor her, to say this is not okay anymore. Stop hurting the children, stop causing all this death and suffering and pain. Here we are to reawaken with these energies in some small way or some big ways. Hopefully that ripple effect can be felt into all the neighboring countries and across the planet wherever it's needed. Just to know that we're doing our part in some way, and that we're showing up with that passion and with that care, and learning how to work with her so we harness her and we bring her to balance as well. We know how like rage and passion can kind of take us over and make us feel suddenly crazy and we don't know how to stop. We learn how to really tend to her and balance with her. And we're going to be steeped in Katy Noura Butler's Egyptian mysteries, woven with a shamanic path. So this is really grounding us into a really powerful grid and really keeping us supported between all realms. This is how we can know we're also walking with integrity, with safety, and with care, and with trust in who we're working for and what's coming through us. Because as I've seen and felt in Egypt, there's a lot of spiritual groups, or just maybe in New Age spirituality in general, there's a lot of people messing with things they don't necessarily know that they're messing with, channeling things that they don't necessarily know what they're channeling, and bringing in all these other energies, and just a lot of confusion in space. There's a lot of shamanic pollution and psychic noise, and there's a lot going on in the astral and a lot going on in these spaces. So we're here to come back into that purest primal energy, to really honor that again within ourselves, and then how we walk the path, we start to be able to see more clearly and recognize also the distortions happening all around. But we work with the 5 subtle bodies of the Egyptian mysteries, working with the archetypes with those subtle bodies that remind us of their energy and their kind of guidance. So we have that Sekhmet, which is that kind of our stamp on earth, that primal remembrance of who we are, our tastes and what we are here for, our uniqueness of who we are. This is why we're born into this form, and who are we in this time, on this planet, on this earthly walk. And then we bring that energy, that primal raw energy, all the way up to the goddess Nut, which is that cosmic mother. She's holding it all with her womb. In so many traditions we have Mother Earth and Father Sky, and here in Egypt you have this Mother Sky and Earth Geb, which is the masculine. And you understand it so much actually, how the earth is all outward expressing, like you can see the masculine principle, and the feminine is just that great womb holding it all. It really starts to make sense when you're there and you start to feel it in this way. And with the cosmic moon we also feel, again, Sekhmet is that primal, again, shamanic energy, that raw energy from the earth. And coming it all the way up to Nut is like trusting in this higher divine guidance, bringing it into alignment with the highest good for all. Then we know that we're safe and we know we're okay when we're balancing these 2 energies. And then we journey all the way into the shadow, to Nefis. We come and bring our shadows to the light. We recognize actually we need our shadows. We need that mystery. We need that secrecy. And actually Nefis is so important in the story of Isis. She's the sister. She's the dark sister. But she's needed to help Isis complete her mission. So our shadow is needed for us to complete our mission, to gather the dismembered parts of Osiris, or gather the dismembered parts of our own soul, to bring ourselves back into full form. And then we journey all the way across to Isis to honor that divine leadership. She's the great mother, the great leader, the great queen, the great magician or shaman. She's really holding it all. She shows how to do that with integrity, with grace, with great balance. You see those wings spread out. That's the great balance. We can think of the star sign Libra coming into that honoring of justice and how to walk rightly. And then we bring that energy all the way across to Hathor, who's that great goddess of beauty, of refinement, of musicality, her dance, her walk. It's understanding that like our greatest offering to the planet this time can be our fully embodied form, to walk with grace, to speak, to understand the tone that we speak with, to understand how we're expressing, and how that ripple effect can go out into the world just through the people that we meet. I always think of my beautiful friend who's not really online. She doesn't have an online business, but the way she walks through the world and the way she sees people in the highest good and just the light that she carries, I feel like is such a great gift to humanity. But she doesn't have this great grand business or purpose, but it's this beautiful beauty that comes from within, that is expressed in that divine nature. So balancing all these bodies brings us into this deep, again, equanimity and power and strength and groundedness. It's a sort of grid work that we'll be working with throughout, before the journey and then during the journey. And we get to stay in Katy Noura Butler's home, which she's been tending to for like 30 to 40 years, across from the temple, from the pyramids and the Great Sphinx. We'll be in her temple, in her portal, and to me this is such a blessing and a gift. Like, rather than staying in a huge generic hotel or any sort of resort or anything, we get to stay in this temple, to be living in the space of a master, and to have these beautiful apartments, and to be also offered the most amazing food. Because my whole time in Egypt back in May, it was the most amazing food in her house, all organic, all abundant, just so much on offer, and just so much love poured into the food. And we'll be able to steep in some of her teachings in person. You can experience a tarot reading, which I really highly recommend. There's very few people I would go to and trust with a tarot reading, but she is someone that has helped me profoundly, and I really trust her channel and her guidance, and again, can't recommend enough. We'll be at sunrise in the Sphinx in a beautiful ceremony, really honouring this cosmic oracle, this great library of knowledge. As we come into a deep, powerful ceremony at sunrise, we'll be really awakening this great force, and remembering this access point that we can always return back to as well. And then journeying into nighttime, into the Great Pyramid, we'll be toning and being in the rebirth chamber, coming into a really powerful rebirth ritual, coming into this space where we can connect to the guardians of that place and connect to this great communication channel between the earth and the cosmos, and really feel the power of this building, of this space that has been held for such a long period of time. And then from there we get to drive out into the desert. We'll be visiting the white and black deserts, these incredible desert landscapes, these great formations. And here we get to be tending to that primal shamanic energy of the earth. And that's another message I received back in May. I was in the temple of Isis, and really feeling her energy and her guidance, and I could feel the message so strongly of, like, go back to where I was birthed, where this energy comes from. And so again, like, coming out into the desert, coming out into the caves, where, you know, we're going to be visiting the Djada cave, and there's nothing more archetypally shamanic than the cave, going into that womb space. This is a powerful cave with stalagmites and prehistoric imagery. So we know, like, some of the earliest ancestors of the Egyptians were in these caves, and you see the images, maybe not necessarily in these caves, but in some of the caves that are really far out that we can't go and access at this time, but have these priestesses in invocation with their arms raised. And you see these great ceremony and rituals, and this patterns then of this image then getting passed down into Isis and to Hathor as we come into the Egyptian civilizations. And again, it's this remembrance of these energies, this respect of the energies. You see throughout Egypt, they still respect the goddess and these energies of where this comes from, but it's we're recognizing again where these energies come from, the primal remembrance. And so then we're going to be journeying to the oasis of Siwa, and I was amazed when I was channeling this itinerary and it was coming through, and I was just sort of letting it come through and sort of, wow, this is where we're going to in September. To realize that the Oracle's temple in Siwa is the only temple in Egypt built in alignment with the spring and autumn equinox, sunrise and sunset, and we're there exactly for the autumn equinox. So we get to be in ceremony, and in the words of Katy Noura Butler, like, as soon as she came into that Oracle's temple, she just got this full realignment of herself, and these gifts that have never left her since, this deep remembrance. Similar energies she said she experienced in the Oracle of Delphi in Greece, this kind of just deep remembrance of where we come from. And you know, this is a pilgrimage site that has been traveled for thousands of years by camel, by horseback, from the sort of area of Cairo into Siwa, which would have taken days, if not weeks, to arrive there by horseback or camel. And this was a place as well that, you know, the great Alexander the Great went to visit that oracle to receive his purpose, to receive his guidance in life, and then to become Alexander the Great. And then many armies or leaders felt like the oracle was getting too powerful. They tried to take him down, and it's said that like thousands of men disappeared in that desert trying to attack. You know, many people journeyed out to this desert, out to this town for its healing powers, to bury themselves into the sand, to go into the many oases for different healing waters. So we get to experience some of that and be in the most beautiful eco hotel, which I've fallen in love with, again with amazing food. And we get to celebrate our initiate journey full circle. We get to be in this full celebration together and really learn how to bring this back into our lives, these energies and gifts that we've cultivated. And, you know, throughout our journey in May, I just spontaneously would work with people one-on-one on activations, rituals, messages, ceremonies, releases, healings. And again, this will happen again, I know, with this group and with this journey. So this will be something very special. But at the same time, I also just love to hold space for us to remember and trust our own inner knowing and have that innately coming through. I feel throughout this journey, we're going to be in these rituals and ceremonies kind of nearly in silence, but all working maybe in different ways, but together, and really supporting one another for this work and trusting our knowing, which will receive so much from one another just by being in this space together, into this journey together. And again, I'm just so honored to be on this path, to be on this journey. As soon as you join, you'll be receiving the Egyptian Mysteries Preparation Journey, woven with a Shamanic Preparation Journey ahead of time, and then really get to, you know, be in the energy all the way up until we gather together 16th of September to the 23rd. If you're called to join, you can email hannahruthdyson@gmail.com and receive the PDF with all the info. And again, trust that call at this time. I know it will be a soul's calling. I know it will call the right souls together, and it's already just more than I could ever imagine. So I'm so excited to meet you if you're feeling called. Of course, don't hesitate to ask any questions. And as always, I'm sending so much love to wherever you are in the world.